Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the June 10th, 2026 meeting of the East Hempfield Township Planning Commission. Will you all join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. First agenda item is the approval of the May 13th meeting minutes. Anybody have any corrections or?
Want to make Mike a voting member? Make Mike a voting member since he's been alternate.
Oh, do we need him?
Yeah.
Mike, would you like to be a voting member?
Sure.
Mike's accepted.
So, Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion that we approve the minutes as presented. I didn't have any amendments.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
I'm not in favor? Not zero, okay, so Josh. Okay. First item on the agenda is the Lancaster Sauce Company final plan.
Good evening, members of the Planning Commission. My name is Dwight Yoder. I'm an attorney at Gibble, Crable & Hess, and here on behalf of Lancaster Sauce Company with me is Jason Smith and Todd Smeek from DC Gone. This is a plan that I think is pretty straightforward. Nate has put it up on the board. I'm going to give just a quick introduction. I'll let Jason and Todd speak a little bit, and I'm sure Nate can weigh in on the township staff and engineers review of this. Lancaster Sauce Company is located at 501 Richardson Drive. It's about 9.5 acres, zoned enterprise. It was part of a 1975 subdivision. It has an existing manufacturing operation located within an industrial park. The project really is kind of exciting. It's a local business that is looking to expand within their existing footprint. And what they are going to do is add an additional line. Jason can explain a little bit more the details of that, but just to give you an overview of what the project is about. They started out as Lancaster Fine Foods, and it has steadily grown. They make food sauces like honey sauce, restaurant sauces, barbecue sauces. And they recently have become affiliated with a larger company, and they are planning to move production that currently occurs in Chambersburg, Fort Worth, Texas, and Toronto, all here to Lancaster. So we're looking at a very significant investment in this building. It will require a complete revamp of a portion of the building to allow this to work. We previously went through the supervisors to get conditional use approval, not because of the use, but because it involves a sewer kind of process, because the line will have a wastewater that comes out that has to be pre-treated before it goes into the Lancaster Sewer Authority's public sewer system. So that required an additional zoning approval, and then we were in front of the zoning hearing board for some minor variances for lot coverage, and also to allow some of the storage bins to be in the front yard. Again, Todd can speak a little bit to that, but really the reason we're here this evening is part of going through this process. Even though there's not a new building that's being constructed, there is some new bins, both for the storage of materials that will be needed for this new line, as well as for the sewer that will come through and need to be pre-treated before it goes into the Lancaster Sewer Authority public wastewater system. It's a great project. It's a $45 million investment. It's going to provide a lot of good paying jobs. And there is a tight timeline, so we've really appreciated township staff. They've been extremely helpful in getting back to us and keeping this project moving. So we're kind of at the end of the approval process. We'll need to go through the building permit process next, but really what we're looking for this evening is your review and answering any questions that you might have. There's not a lot out there in terms of the township engineer's review, but Todd will explain a little bit what you're seeing up on the board, and Jason can provide just a little more information. So Jason, do you want to come next and just maybe give the Planning Commission a quick overview?
Yeah, thanks, Dwight. Good evening, everyone. So Lancaster Sauce Company at 501 Richardson, we're what you call a co-packer or co-manufacturer. So our name, Lancaster Sauce Company, doesn't get put on any of the labels. We contract or partner with others. Their recipe, the type of bottle or container that they'd like it in, their label, and then so we'll manufacture that sauce or dressing or condiment, put it in their bottle, their container, put their label on it, put it in a case, and then ship it out. And so, as Dwight had alluded to, our parent company, Trillium Foods, they currently have this type of partnership with a co-packer in Fort Worth, Texas, one in Toronto, and one in Chambersburg. And so they have an agreement to exit the business with those three entities and bring the majority of that manufacturing to our location in Lancaster and some in Brundage, Alabama, which is a sister plant. So just to put in context, last year we did about 7 million pounds of volume in the year. We're expecting to do upwards of 75 to 100 million pounds of volume. So exponentially increased throughput, and which requires, like Dwight mentioned, silos for some of our liquid ingredients, right? It's a lot cheaper to get 5,000 gallons in a tractor trailer than it is to get 275-gallon totes. So we got the approval for the silos out front. And then with, additional machinery, additional throughput requires additional water. The water will, if it's cleaning equipment or going down the drains with the food product, we need to treat it before it gets into the system, and hence the wastewater treatment processing facility. So those are the main outbuildings, accessory structures on the footprint, but everything, all the manufacturing will be maintained within our existing building. So we're not making the building any larger, just adding some accessory structures to support our operation. Any questions?
One question I would have for you is, the employee base sounds like it's gonna increase. Is parking sufficient for the staff and
Yes.
and all operations?
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
So, going with multiple shifts, we'll have plenty to overlap as incoming and outgoing shifts are coming in and out of the building.
Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. Todd Smeeg with DC Gone Associates. Had the pleasure of working with Trillium and, of course, Mr. Yoder, and of course, the Dennis Group who put together the plans for the project. Our aspect has been to assist the Dennis Group and the client in working through the land planning process. What the Planning Commission is looking at, you see the dark circles on, let's describe it as the lower center portion of the sheet. Those are to be treatment tanks for the pre-treatment of the sewage effluent that Jason spoke about. If your eyes move a little bit to the right, you'll see it looks like a square with the corner chopped off. That is the silos for ingredients where a tanker trailer will back in. That's what the graphic is showing, the movement of the truck to safely back into that location and stay out of the public right of way. But that's where the ingredients will come in. The truck docks stay the same. The parking is adequate. But I'm sure the Planning Commission is aware, and I know Mr. Volpe is very aware, anytime you change something on the surface, we need to deal with stormwater management. So this site, developed in 1975, never had stormwater management for it itself. The area you see shaded on the upper right-hand corner of the drawing in front of you, That is going to be a shallow stormwater facility. It happens to be constructed in the area that used to house a fire suppression tank. You know, one of the big tanks for, you know, put the fire out type thing. So there's not very good infiltration there, but nonetheless, the grading and everything works to allow us to manage water to meet the current stormwater ordinance. I don't want to bore everyone with details. We did meet early on with staff to decide, is this a stormwater plan or a land development plan? Because the building is not changing. The access is not changing. The water and sewer is not changing, other than there'll be more use of water and we need to pre-treat effluent before it goes into the sewer system. But the site is already served with public water from the city of Lancaster and sewer through LASA. It was decided that a land development plan would be more of a catch-all approach. So before you tonight is a land development plan. As Mr. Yoder mentioned, we received reviews from the township engineer on March 24th for the conditional use. Went through the conditional use process. And then after we submitted the land development plan, we addressed letters of the engineer from April 27th or May 19th, and the latest letter is June 3rd. If the Planning Commission is acceptable to this, I'll review the 4 modifications that we're looking for. First one is something I'm sure you've seen very often from the Saldo preliminary plan requirements, 265-4.3.b. Since the site is already fully developed and we've gone through the conditional use process in somewhat detail with the supervisors, we thought that was a good modification to seek, and I believe the engineer is supporting that waiver, that modification. Another one comes from the Stormwater Management Ordinance, section 260-21F and -28N. Calls for a minimum 2-foot elevation difference between finished floors of buildings and calculated 100-year water surface elevations. In this case, as I mentioned, the site was developed back in the 70s, kind of predated current stormwater requirements. The finished floor is what it is, and the ability to safely grade and drain away is what it is. We can't meet the 2-foot difference. Now, there's no basement to the building, so there's less risk there. But we end up with a net 4.2 inches of freeboard to the larger building and 18.5 inches of freeboard against the pump house, which is the building on the right-hand side of the drawing that you're looking at. It's a smaller building. Engineer is recommending granting that modification. We're sort of stuck with things the way they are. We're not going to be able to raise the building to meet that requirement. Another one I'm sure you've seen plenty is a waiver or modification, I should say, of existing features located within 200 feet of the property. The plan in front of you shows those improvements to the detail as readily obtained from online data sources. We didn't go survey 200 feet from the property edge. Last but not least is roadway widening, curb and sidewalk along the frontage. The applicant is willing to execute a deferral agreement with a fee in lieu of, based upon the milling and overlaying to the center line of Richardson Drive along the frontage. That is an estimate I need to get to the township.
And DMA has a simplified formula for figuring that out.
Right. But again, that has been submitted, it's been reviewed, and I believe recommended for approval by DMA. So unless there's other questions that the board would have regarding the project, as you've heard, most of the dollars are going to be invested inside the building to allow it to do what it's supposed to do. All you're going to see on the outside are tanks and silos, and some minor changes.
The effluent you're you're treating.
Mhm.
Is there a byproduct that you treat, like, what, are you taking out grease or what is it?
Jason?
Yeah, so, all of the food waste, the sauces, things like that, when we clean the equipment or we have spills, it's a food facility, so there's stuff on the floor. That'll all get treated, BODs, it'll be a biological treatment center to get it down to LASA's acceptable levels on all their.
Grease traps as well?
Yeah, so, I don't want to bore you, but really it comes out of the building into a large grease trap. From there, it goes into a lift station. The grease trap is separating your fat solids and oils and greases. From there, lift station into a rotary screen, which you're taking out a lot of your solids, bottle caps, pieces of glass, whatever might be in the drain. And then from there into a equalization tank, there's DAF systems, and then into our biological treatment, which really does the lion's share of the work. And from there, we'll discharge into LASA's lines. And monitoring throughout, BODs, TCS, pH, temperature, everything that LASA expects, and that routine or monthly, bi-monthly monitoring that they expect. So,
What do you do with the solids then?
yeah, so they'll get accumulated into a tank or an open top dumpster, which will be inside the building, and we'll get it pumped out by like John Klein or Wind River, Klein Services, someone like that, a waste hauler.
Did you increase for the, I guess, expansion inside, do you have a increase of water that you'll,
Yeah,
And that's been
there'll be an
approved.
increase in water. That's correct.
and that's all been approved by LASA and you got EDUs and
Yeah,
whatnot?
City of Lancaster has said that they can support our increase in water, and LASA said that they're going to work with us to accept the increase of discharge.
I have a question for staff. Just wanted clarity on the fourth waiver.
Yep, we're going to get there.
Okay.
So, like they said, this was developed in the seventies. At the time, the township didn't have any requirements for warehouses, whatnot, to be on collector or arterial roads. That is a requirement in the 2014 ordinance. In order to clean up the zoning issue, with other projects on Richardson, the three Shanks ones that you saw 2 or 3 years ago, we reclassified the road. With that came with more right-of-way requirements. The township's not interested in the right-of-way for that, so DMA's letter just didn't catch up to that. You do have a suggested motion that reflects.
Yeah,
that.
I saw, and that's different than the staff comments. And there's no sidewalks on the adjoining properties there.
Portions of Shanks has it, but nothing that connects.
Okay.
Any other questions?
We
Questions?
would just be deferring the sidewalk
Yes.
anyway, so if we ever chose to need the sidewalk there, they would have to put it in.
If we defer the sidewalk and curb, we have enough right away to do it though?
There's enough room.
Mike, anything? Any questions from the audience? I'll take a motion.
Not on Zoom either.
Chairman, I'll make a motion that we recommend approval of the modifications 1, 2, and 3, and conditional approval on modification number 4, subject to staff and engineer comments.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it.
Want action on the plan? Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion that we recommend to the supervisor's approval of the final plan, subject to staff and engineer comments.
Second.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you, gentlemen. Second item on the agenda is 2896 Knoll Road. Anyone here?
Good evening. Jake Krieger from RGS Associates, here on behalf of the applicant who is also here with me. This is just a sketch plan to review the project, so I'll just give you a little overview of the project. It's located at 2896 Knoll Road, east of the intersection of Centerville Road. It consists of 29.54 acres, split into 3 parcels currently with residential home with agricultural fields on it. The site is located within the RL low density residential zone. It's proposing 26 single family lots. The existing dwelling will remain, and then the addition of 25 lots kind of in the front half of the parcel. There to be accessed from a street extension from Stonebridge, which is planned north, and then a new road connection from Knoll Road. And the existing residents will connect off of that cul-de-sac. The project will be served by public water and sewer. Stormwater will be managed on site for the development. And additionally, we'll have a traffic assessment letter provided as part of our final plan submission. With the submission of the sketch plan, we're really here just to review the plan with you and to get it in front of you, but to ask for a waiver of the preliminary plan. The project is proposed as a single phase, and the township engineer and staff has reviewed the plan, and they also recommend approval of this preliminary plan waiver. So we just request a recommendation tonight, and happy to answer any questions you might have. Thank you.
Questions?
When I look at the sketch up there, the first thing I look at, and maybe you've looked at this and there's reasons for this, but the one cul-de-sac, if extended, looks like it would come directly out across from another existing road. Oftentimes, it's a burden on municipalities to plow cul-de-sacs, things like that, and an extension connection to that may be possible. I don't know. Maybe it's a site distance issue because it's on the inside of the curve there. That's the first thing that jumps out to me when I look at it. Just something to think about.
We did investigate that. Unfortunately, we don't have site distance at that location.
Okay.
Any other questions? Questions from the audience? Jim?
I'm Bob Johnson, 1321 Stevens Street. Just a question on a history of this. So the property is owned now by one person and it's going to be a development? Is that the situation? I mean, it's going to be like there'll be a builder, a developer and that kind of thing? Okay. All right. I just wasn't aware that was going on, but that's good.
Any other questions? I'll take a motion. From someone?
Yeah, I assume the applicant's aware that just waiving the preliminary plan doesn't guarantee that the final plan would get approved.
Understood. Yes.
But this will be a single phase project, I assume.
Yes.
So in light of that, I'll make a motion that we recommended the supervisor's approval of the waiver of the preliminary plan, subject to staff and engineer comments.
I have a motion from Mr. Rohr,
I'll second.
second by Mr. Bolton. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Thank you.
Next agenda item is 3000 Hempland Road at Centerville Road.
Good evening, Planning Commission. My name's Nick Lewis. Oh, can you hear me now? A little bit louder? Better? Good evening, Planning Commission. My name is Nick Lewis. I am a civil engineer for Bowler Engineering, representing Mr. Car Wash, or CWP West LLC. What we're proposing here on 3000 Hempland Road is a new express car wash in the old Bob Evans location across from the McDonald's. Just briefly, I'll run you through how the site would operate today or in the proposed conditions. So you would enter the shared, what is now the Hempland Road Associates cul-de-sac, and then you would have two access points to the site. The latter one would be the queuing, where we would provide 27 queuing spaces for the car wash. If you're following the plan, you would then go plan south through the pay kiosk and then loop back around and have access to the car wash. Let's say you're in a large, dual axle pickup truck that does not fit within the car wash facility. There's an opportunity for a bailout lane, which is that small lane which would push you into the parking area where there are 10 vacuum stalls. Real quick, from a stormwater management perspective, we are reducing impervious on the site by a significant portion. We are able to meet the township's code for stormwater management just on our reduction of impervious alone. We already have submitted to the County Conservation District and received our NPDS approval with that same approach. Real quick, I can run through the entire letter from Scott at this point, or they're all will comply at this point as well. Nate, if you don't mind, I can also go through the requested waivers here too.
Yeah, just go through the modification waivers.
So this plan did receive a waiver from the preliminary review back in September, October of last year. So skipping past that one, but we are requesting a waiver from section 265 8.5 D3 for the separation of our access drives from being 150 feet due to the nature of the proposed lot or the existing lot. We're unable to achieve that. There was an existing access point off of Hempland Road, but in our initial discussions with township staff, it was requested that that access point be removed, which we are proposing on this plan. Moving on to the next modification request is from section 260-24C1A-4 for a minimum pipe size of 15 inches. Our site, given the small nature of the building, it's only about 4,500 square feet. We do not need 15 inches to run roof drains off of that proposed building, hence the request for the waiver. I think that's all of the waivers that we're requesting at this moment. There was an initial waiver from providing curb along Hempland, but we are in a position to provide that at this time, so no need to request that waiver at this time. I do also have a representative from Vista. If you have any operational questions, I'm here to answer any questions when it comes to the plan, but they can answer any operation or questions about Vista themselves.
The request to waive the curbing is withdrawn.
Yes.
Any questions?
No, I'll say that I did notice that when we saw this the first time, I had a few comments about where the access drives met up with other access drives across and things like that. And I see that that was revised and those look much better to me. So I'm appreciative of that from a queuing standpoint of leaving there. Now, the property to the north lines up with your access drive, and that to me is much better.
Appreciate that.
Questions from the audience? Okay. No other questions? I'll take a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion that we recommend to the supervisors conditional approval of what's listed as modification number 1 and approval of what's listed as modification number 3. Make that recommendation to the supervisors, subject to staff and engineer comments.
I have a motion from Mr. Rohr.
I'll second.
All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Motion for the plan.
You need a motion for the plan, yes.
Chairman, I'll make a motion that we recommend to the supervisors approval of the final plan, subject to staff and engineer comments.
I'll second.
Motion from Mr. Rohr, seconded by Mr. Volpe. Volpe. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passed. And the final agenda item tonight, I think. Hempfield High School.
Good evening. I'd like to welcome the board, I guess. My name's Hugh Cazzo. I'm a registered landscape architect with the LA Group. With us tonight, I have Mark Hennice, who's a traffic engineer in our office. I have Mike Bromersky, the school district superintendent. I have Judy Brady, who's the president of the school board. Scott Sullivan, who's the architect with KCBA, and Dan Sakala and Maddie Landis, who are with Fidavia, the construction management group. They're here tonight if there's any questions on anything in particular that you may have. We were before you last year with the master plan, which was the basically campus-wide renovations to the Landisville campus, which it includes essentially the renovations to the high school, where we're going to be removing the Franklin wing in front, going to be moving the baseball field across the street south of Kaufman Drive, and also the steam building, which is located there right now too, as well as the barn building, which is located next to the softball field where the maintenance is, to combine them into a facility behind the Landisville Middle School. Currently, right now, student parking is located both on the front of the school, behind the school, and some across the street. And with the proposed site, what we're looking at doing is, like I said, the addition to the side of the building, the Buchanan, the new parking lot out front, which you see here, which will have the students on the right side, staff on the left side. We're also going to be proposing new, if you go to the next sheet, please, Nate. In the rear, that's the new addition, which is coming off east of the Buchanan building there. We'll be loading facilities on that side of the school, and then a new drive that will be going behind you. I think you're all familiar with the basin that runs along Kaufman Road. There'll be a new drive going across there, joining with the existing parking and parking lots that are located to the west of the current Buchanan wing. The other items that we're going to be looking at doing, like I stated, was the baseball field will have to be relocated south to where the old LIC is, where currently it's east of the quad. The softball field, which is currently located in front of LMS, will be renovated concurrently. And then the maintenance building, a new maintenance building, will be placed behind LMS, where currently it's just a parking lot. Also part of the project as well will be putting in a field house on the eastern side of the stadium, renovating the grandstands to particularly the visitors grandstands, which currently do not have ADA access. Also adding new press boxes, and also renovating the current field house that is located adjacent to the parking lot. The stormwater facilities that we have primarily right now are consisting of three major facilities, which will be the basin along the back of the school, an underground facility in what we're calling the band parking lot, which is located here. Good, thanks. This here is the band parking lot, which is located just north of the quad. Currently, right here, there is a gravel parking lot with a barn that the district uses. Quad, the two adjacent fields are here, they're staying. the new baseball field will be located here at the old LIC. You're essentially right above the parking lot that's currently there now, where the old LIC was. Off in the distance out here would be the new renovated softball field. Over here would be the new field house. And the next slide, please.
Which one are you looking for?
The one with the, yes, that field. Now you're actually on the opposite end. This is a softball field. This is the Landisville primary. You have the new softball field, the quad. Underneath this here would be the new field house. And that's the existing concession stand. Over here would be what we're calling the band parking lot, because that's where the band's going to be practicing from here on out. And over here is the school, high school. Next, please. All right, these are renderings of the high school as they're currently proposed. In this particular case, you're actually above Stanley Avenue looking south. So this would be, over here would be that's the PAC, the PAC right there. This is the Buchanan area coming up here. This area here would be the new addition, the new parking lot here for staff, students. Next one, please. This is a view from the east where the tech classes will be over in here. This is all the enclosed facility for the drop-off supplies for the tech classes. Currently, this will be where the pre-K playground is. We currently have one now that's just kind of nestled in there with the gym. Now it'll be going out with the current school. The new one will be going out here along the front where the pre-K center is. And the two loading dock areas, one we call this the Amazon dock. It's like for step vans and things like that running from the various parts of the school district, making deliveries. And this would be your tractor trailer dock there. That drive we talked about here is going in here, and during the afternoon it'll be used for buses. And during the morning, it's going to be used for parent drop-offs. So you'll be having parent drop-offs on both sides of the building. And I think is there one more? That's it. Okay, and this is just viewing from the south again. There's the PAC. That's the existing parking over there along the west side of Buchanan. And this is the addition here to kind of give you a context of what the new building is going to look like. This building addition is essentially replacing what the Franklin addition is out front. Because a lot of the classrooms and teaching facilities within the older building are undersized from current PDE standards, Department of Education standards. Expanding upon the existing Franklin building really wasn't suggested, wasn't really desired. So constructing a new building like this was needed. Because of the sizes in the future, the total build out could be a possibility of maybe an additional 200 students at the most. That right now isn't projected, but that potential is there again with meeting the current standards. Right now, we have gone through 3 different reviews with both township engineers. Both of them right now are pretty much will comply with what's left over. The traffic engineer, we have gone through a couple different iterations, particularly with the circulation on the campus, particularly with the buses, and the concern to make sure, because the introduction of a parking lot north of Kaufman Road was of concern, and so things are being reconfigured and have met the recommendation and approval of Chris, which we still have some issues to work out, but we have achieved at least addressing the main concerns that he had. These comments that Scott has provided us are mostly concerning administrative items, waiver requests, and the such. So again, those are mostly all will complies. Currently, right now, we are going through the the DEP in the NPDS review process. We have, because of the geology on the site, which is heavily karst, There is, the geotech on the project has recommended no infiltration on the site. There is a history and record of sinkholes on here, so we have developed what they call an MRC system, modified release concept, which requires a vetting and review by DEP, which we received the first review about 2 weeks ago and going through and addressing those comments now. We did meet with them on Monday, them in the Conservation District, and they seem to be favorable to what we're proposing here. So we're going through that process. As well as otherwise, the township comments for stormwater have pretty much been addressed. They're deferring to what the DEP and the Conservation District have. Before you, we do have 10 modification, I think a total of 10 modification requests. Most all of them are been recommended to being granted. I don't know if you want me to go on each individual one. The one that wasn't was the request for waiving financial security, that was recommended, to be denied. In my conversations with Scott, and, he has indicated the concern with the size of the project, that he would prefer to have some type of escrow account set up to make sure that things are properly done and completed on a timely basis. So most everything else that we have put forth has been recommended for approval. So we're here tonight to discuss any items you may have. If you have any questions about the school and what's proposed, what the thoughts are to programming or anything, we do have staff here for that, and we're hoping, requesting that we get a conditional approval to move on. So, questions?
Can you walk us through the traffic flow for like mornings, evenings when the school's done, for special events at PAC, for events at the sports stadiums? I like the idea of having the parking area for the students and the teachers completely separate from the busing area. It's gonna increase safety.
Everything in context, we have Bank Street, Church Street, and then Stanley. Hoffman Road is down here. So this parking lot here is for students. So students will be entering here, separating the students from the parents. Was an important piece. So students will be able to come in off the Bank or off of Hoffman. They'll be entering here. They will have assigned spaces so that students will know exactly where they're going, so they're not turning up the wrong aisle. These will be locked off, temporary barricades in the morning and in the afternoon. Parents and those doing drop-off aren't cutting through the parking lot, and that will allow students to come in.
Tell me again, that's getting blocked off.
Temporary barricades, we've worked with the township for some recommendations on these areas so that students are coming in here and going to their assigned spot. If parents are coming in for a drop-off here off of Bank or Stanley, they'll be coming down here to do the drop-off, keep them separated. If they're leaving here, we don't want the parents driving down into the student lot.
Right, so that's gonna work too. Okay.
Worked with the township in terms of some options and what they would recommend for that. Here's where we have staff parking. Staff will be in before the drop-off sessions begin with parents. Parents coming in will be able to come in off of Bank or off of Stanley. When they come in, do the drop-off, they'll be coming down here, doing the drop-off. They will be able to exit, coming back this way, back off of, through the parking lot off to Stanley, or going out to Bank. So again, they're not intermixing the students. Up here, there's additional parking. This would, in a sense, be overflow or for students who are coming in late arrival. So they will not be mixing in with regards to any of the drop-off.
Students that don't have a parking spot, is that?
Or students who get their license later in the year as well.
Okay.
Students have late arrival, so they're not necessarily coming in right at the start of the day. They may come in for second period, so they'll be missing all of that arrival. And then, are you able to pull up the southern one as well, just to show? Here we go, perfect. So also coming in off of Kaufman, this will also be a parent drop-off opportunity. If parents are dropping off here, they will continue through here, We've calculated everything from a busing standpoint. We have buses that will come here up to the north, dropping students off. By the time the buses come through, parents are now at the drop-off time that they'll be able to come out here. There will be a do not block the box to ensure that not blocking anyway in case there's a late bus. Parents will then be coming out to Kaufman either to make a right or a left. Again, separating parents from up here and down here, giving two options for parents so that it's not one designated area. We have that currently, it's just at different locations.
Why the temporary barriers? Why wouldn't you just make them permanent?
Permanent.
Because during the regular school day and or off hours, we don't have concern with parents coming in, or if parents are coming in for an event after school hours or community, we want them to be able to go and exit off of Bank or down.
Are you gonna move, people are gonna move those? They're-
We currently do that in other buildings now. That's part of our custodial team's responsibility. We build that in. Yeah. They'll be stationed out there to be able to be then stacked and put out in the morning.
There should be no stacking anywhere on the public road.
Correct.
All the stacking is
On the district campus, intentionally.
About a sporting event or a pack event.
Yep. So for the pack events, we'll be able to have individuals parking down here or up along Buchanan, entering here as part of an entrance, or they could be parked up in either one of these parking lots coming in the main entrance. One of the beauties of the design of this building, when they enter in, they'll be going down the main hallway. They will then make a right and come down the hallway here, there's a larger commons area. So it'd be a nice gathering space during either intermission or before or after a performance in the pack, with additional larger restrooms accessible, which will be in this area. And so there's two ways to get in or out for people if they're parking on the northern side or the western side of the building. For athletic events, if they're coming in.
And there's adequate parking in pack then?
It
If
will,
you use that up above?
absolutely.
Okay.
Yep. We also, right across the street on Kaufman, if there's overflow needed, there will be the band lot, which will be accessible for parking for those weekend events. For athletic events, this will be the main competition gym. So all of the parking will be at the front, coming in right into the facility. If we are hosting a larger district, state tournament, etc., there will be plenty of parking all along here, back here, and then over at the band lot, as well as over by the tennis courts. And if need be, if it's that populated, they could also be over by the quad, and they would just walk a little further. But there would be an entrance here for that type of event, and a straight shot of a hallway.
How's the flow for the football games and the quad?
So
for
that
traffic?
not changing it. We just adding additional parking spaces. So you will have the band lot for some overflow parking for that as well. We currently have people, when they attend a football game, they do park up here at the Buchanan side. So we'll have this now new parking lot with the band. We'll have Buchanan. And if it's very popular, we still have both of these additional parking spaces. I don't anticipate that, but that could be overflow for buses that are dropping off students or band, and where they can wait and then come back and pick up as well.
Where are the problem spots now? Where you
Problem
get
spots?
fender benders and things like that?
I'm sorry?
Where you get fender benders or little,
So right now at the design, you come in off of Stanley and you loop down in front of the building, and then you have to make a right or a left on Bank. And so that drive, we tend to have stacking up on Stanley because, yep, thank you. There's a lot of stacking here because coming down this loop, it's not as long in terms of being able to queue cars in. So that is one area. And then also down in this area where the Buchanan gym is, thank you, here, there is another loop here that parents are able to do. This coincides with student parking, so there's a little bit of a jam that happens at times when students are trying to park and parents are trying to loop, so we're trying to separate all of those. The other piece that we have as a challenge right now is we have student parking across Kaufman Road, down by the tennis courts, and some at the quad, so those students are walking and crossing. We have buses going regularly and cars, so we have a constable that we provide for crossing to ensure student safety. With this new design, we will not need the constable there because student parking is now up here.
Thank you.
How are you handling, as you're building it, like the parking?
In terms of the flow with the phases,
Yeah,
so because of, again, the design, we have the first piece that will be done will be the new building.
Yep.
And so we have lay down areas, everything kind of situated in this area. They'll be all fenced off.
where the parking is now.
Down here,
Yep.
correct. And so we will have so there's a little bit of staff parking at the front, student parking once this all begins. Any remaining spots will be assigned for students, and then they will be down here through the quad with the constable still in play. Once this is completed, then the project gets working on renovating Buchanan, and we have Franklin and the new building. So the parking will remain the same. At the final phase, Franklin gets demolished, the new parking lots get added. So it's not until that third phase when we have these parking lots up front that all of that will shift.
Gotcha.
So everything shifts south from a parking standpoint. The advantage too of having the band lot in an early phase gives us additional parking.
Okay, so that's gonna be, the van parking will allow. Gotcha.
Yep.
Hopefully that's it.
Can you run down through the waivers?
What we have, the first one is the environmental impact study. We provided additional information. We requested a waiver from that. The information we provided was deemed sufficient by the township engineer. Located within 200 foot of the subject tract waiver. That is essentially because most all the improvements are happening on campus. And we provide justification for that, and that's recommended for approval. The planting islands and divider strips, particularly with the band parking lot, since that is going to be used for band practice. Currently, the band practice is up in the northwest corner of the campus to the chagrin of a lot of the local residents. So now the band is going to be moving down to the band lot, hence the name. So we requested waivers for that, and also for the parking lot out front as well too, primarily for maintenance purposes. With a concern with plowing, those both were recommended to be granted. I did touch base on the escrow request. That was the only one that was recommended for denial. Sidewalks shall be provided on both sides of the roads. We requested a waiver from this because of the extensive amount of sidewalks we have that are used for the public on the campus. We do provide pedestrian walkways to all points of the existing streets around the site. Buffer planting strip A is required. There are some areas of the site, particularly over where the western parking exists there along Buchanan, which only has about 10 feet or so. There's some existing landscaping there. And also there's some existing landscaping out in front. Also some existing landscaping down along where the baseball, softball field are as well. So we were required to make a request for a waiver from this because we are using existing vegetation as well as this situation here at Buchanan because there's very limited space. So what we actually did there, in lieu of putting the buffer strip along the property line between the parking lot and the property, we've actually increased the buffer up in front of of Buchanan there. So you see on the upper left of this particular sheet, there's a large lawn area that is being heavily buffered. So we're actually buffering the parking lot actually from the existing Buchanan parking lot. We also had requested reducing the number of plants within the islands as well, primarily for maintenance issues and site distance issues and security issues. That was recommended to be granted. And we also do have two deferrals, one for Stanley and Bank, and for the Township Road for widening, and also for Church Street as well. So there's two waivers for each, for both the township streets and Church Street. And the last one isn't a waiver, but concerning the parking, the site currently proposes about 100 spaces more than what is required by the ITE study. And those are primarily the Buchanan parking spaces that to the left of the building. And because of the circulation that occurs during the day with the buses, those effectively can't be used as parking lots, parking spaces. So we've provided justification primarily to, and when it comes to some of the events, the possibility that there could be concurrent events. It's not planned for, but in case of something happens with something in the pack and maybe something in the gym, those additional spaces is felt to be needed to prevent overflow, prevent attempted parking out on the streets. So, and those are basically it.
So with, our request number 5 is withdrawn then?
Well, it was recommended for denial. I guess should we withdraw that?
It's up to you. It's one half dozen or the other.
Okay, okay, we'll withdraw that request then. So, because we're going to be, the district is going to approach the township. I think talking to some of the staff, I think a letter of credit has been issued before. So I think we'll be dealing with that in this situation. So number 5 is withdrawal.
I mean, just like any other person's plan, if you don't finish the things that impact the rest of the public, the township would have to step up and do those. So
Oh, yeah.
that's where the letter of credit comes in.
Yeah, absolutely.
And for the parking one, that's kind of a oddity in the zoning ordinance. It does allow for projects to exceed the recommended parking. It just requires board approval. It's not something you typically act on, but it will be on board's agenda next week.
Josh? Thank you. I'll take a motion.
Anybody in the audience?
Anybody? I'm sorry, Mr. Johnson?
Bob Johnson, Stevens Street. So for all the roads, the exterior roads like Stanley and Bank and all those, are there, and I know you had mentioned sidewalks, but like what are the changes? Like at one point, I think I had heard something about traffic lights. It seems like there's no changes to any of that or?
No, in response to that, yeah, with the original design, way we had it, there was a lot more loading going on over to Bank and Camp Meeting and Church. And working with the township, we've changed the flow inside the parking lot to eliminate that need. Signalization on Bank. So that was, we worked in conjunction with the township on that.
Well, that's great. And then like, you had mentioned sidewalks, so like, will there be any other additional like entry points that need those roads or sidewalks or stop signs, just anything like that?
Well, to show with the map, the plan on the back here, essentially right now, and you have to pretend this is an existing plan. This is where the current loop roads comes in, and it comes around and exits down over here. So essentially, we're relocating that access drive up here. This exists currently now, so that's unchanged. Nothing's changing over here on Stanley. Nothing's changing down on Kaufman. I call admin drive here. That's still in place, and this is still in place down here. So essentially, all we're really doing is relocating this drive.
Come back.
Any other questions? Okay, now I'll take a motion.
That's why it's changing.
That's cheating.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion that we recommend to the supervisors approval of modifications, what are listed 1 through 4, 6, and 7, as well as deferring modification 8 and 9 in our packet, subject to staff and engineer comments.
I'll second.
I have a motion by Mr. Rohr, seconded by Mr. Volpe. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you.
You want the
Plan.
And the plan.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion that we recommend to the supervisors approval of the final plan, subject to staff and engineer comments.
Motion by Mr. Rohr,
I'll second.
seconded by Mr. Volpe. All those in favor? Say
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you for coming. Any old business?
Nope.
Any comments on the June project report?
The zoning hearing board denial for material matters, what was
The
that
initial
about?
application, there was confusion on overlap with Manheim Township. Their site plan appeared to be asking us for relief of portions that were in their township.
Okay.
So it was denied, and they're coming back with the same request, but a cleaned up site plan showing only
Gotcha.
only East Hempfield.
That's why it shows up for the June 15th meeting then. Okay.
So they can deny it and come back in.
I don't think there's anything that says they can't. I don't think the zoning hearing board is necessarily against their request. It was the way it was presented, they legally just couldn't approve it.
Any public comments from anyone? In that case, we'll adjourn at 8:40.
8:03?
8:03.
All right.
You know,
So-
last time you did this, we had like